well, we don't have like so much centralization in the system, except for this information lookup service. And this also can be designed like on peer-to-peer scheme, but it's a bit more complex, so we don't do it in the moment.
Yeah, and each agent will maintain its own local cache of all of the knowledge it queried for, which would be called its data cache, or could be called its beliefs. And each agent will be able to query other knowledge bases, other agents for other KBs of other agents for the missing data. That means that the whole knowledge will be somewhat distributed among all of the agents, and
particular data regarding the host that does not exist in a local agent like knowledge base. It can query the agent knowledge base within the agent network and see if the data exists within that knowledge base agent. So basically, right now within the API and the protocol, we have implemented the feature. And the way you implement the knowledge base, it could be up to you. It could be just like a plain database, or it could be another system just which maintains the data regarding the target network. And if it has the data, it can respond with the data. If it doesn't have the data, it can respond with just refuse the response message.
Yeah, we currently have implemented the prototype for the whole thing. It's still in Java using Jade framework. The communication protocol is still rather simple and in progress. We did that more of a proof of concept prototype. The knowledge base, the knowledge interchange now, we're basically reviewing it. We were thinking of using either KIF or DAML, but we're still researching into that. And once we finalize the communication framework, we will replace the currently used Jade framework using our own, which would be with all these abstract things for the message exchange.
Yeah, right now basically the reason why we're using Java is just to get a feeling of the messaging communication, because a few things which we discovered, like potential problems, we only saw them after we actually tried a few agents to talk to each other. So once we ensure that the protocol which we want to use is more or less final version, we want to get rid of the Jade framework and want to have a simplified version, because Jade is actually a large large framework for scientific research, and lots of features that Jade has, we don't really need them. All we need is just a message exchange layer. And for the information exchange, we're extending the stiff right now, and we're looking into two current standards for knowledge representation. One of them is KF, one of them is DAML. We're extending the stiff right now, and we're looking into two current standards for knowledge representation. One of them is KF, one of them is DAML. DAML is some sort of DARPA-sponsored research and knowledge exchange, and we're seeing if we can integrate part of their ideology into the stiff, so we would be able to wrap a larger amount of different data objects within our message exchange framework. Yeah, and as Medar said just now, once we're done with the finalization of the protocol, then we'll just get rid of the Jade, and we'll publish the protocol spec, and we'll publish the framework, our own implementation of the framework thing.
So yeah, everyone who is sleeping, wake up now.
We don't do the demo for the second thing, because it's just an output of messaging things between different agents. But after the conference, we'll put the code on the website so you can download and try it for yourself. Yeah.
So.
Well, in the first engine, whenever it finds more than one rule to be matched, it will choose one rule. In the first implementation, we had just if it has 3 rules, it just choose one randomly. But in the second implementation, what we have the matching rule, we call it a plan. So it will maintain the succession of the plan execution as a score, and also a plan might or might not have certain environment settings, how stealthy the plan is. So it will pick up the plan which is has the highest succession rate. But I think we still should have a bit of randomness there, because for different networks, different plans might succeed. So I think in the current implementation, it's just a random selection on the second thing as well. But we want it to be affected by the succession rank.
No, I think now, well, I'm not, I don't think, I'm sure now, in the first if you have, for example, several rules matching, actually several entries matching the one, all the tools are executed in parallel in separate thread. So it should be, it's just shown here, but I mean, how big is the network that you want to scan? Like scalability in what sense? In the number of nodes, or? I think most of the things here would be basically limitations of your operating system. Basically, whatever the JVM imposes onto the. But at the moment, I don't know.
Yeah,
we
basically, for the second version, we expected there would be like certain scalability problems. That's why we wanted it to be like distributed. So different agents you can
onto the. But at the moment, I don't know.
Yeah,
we
basically, for the second version, we expected there would be like certain scalability problems. That's why we wanted it to be like distributed. So different agents, you can install them on like completely separate systems. The only thing which depends on how many agents you have is the naming service. So more capabilities you have, more resources that machine has to have. Because when it does the lookups, if you have like probably over 100 agents with different capabilities, that might be a bit slow. But otherwise, like in the second implementation, the system is like completely distributed. So it should be quite scalable, I think. But we didn't do any testing
yet. Any other question?
Any other question? Yeah.
What was stopping from sending rules to say other nodes to create something like a denial of service attack on somebody else?
Well, we have like authentication credentials. So when you install the agents, it's actually me who decides which agents I allow to talk to each other. So there are like no malicious agents, unless you compromise the system which has the agent installed, and you can steal the like credentials from that agent, and you can like do your own agent which will try to like DOS my system. But for the moment, we don't have any like mechanism to detect this thing because it's still a prototype. But we might like work on it later.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, botnet.
You mean the botnet, like the IRC bot thing, which? In which way you think it can be like more effective?
Yeah, well, first of all, the Stiff is implemented in Java, so you'd have to make sure that all of your bots have actually Java. But it would depend on C. The Stiff itself is just a framework for exchange of data, and you can actually integrate any tools into the framework, be it some DOS tools or anything. Basically, the Stiff itself, what it does is it converts the data into Stiff message format, digests it, and based on the rules, executes some commands. That means that, for example, in your case, you could use it, and you could actually script out different things in Stiff also, and to create botnets, which is bad anyway.
Basically, for the second version of Stiff, if you want like Stiff to integrate into botnet, you can actually write an agent, which will be like a botnet agent, and you can allow the agent to talk to Stiff messaging system. So whatever you command through the botnet can actually be like proxy to the Stiff system, and whenever your agent gets any data from the Stiff system, it can like send it back to the botnet. You can just integrate two systems together. The only thing that you have to create, like in order to integrate like second version of Stiff with whatever like framework you have or whatever like system you have to write an agent which will be able to talk the protocol which second version of Stiff understands.
But if we talk about efficiency, it all depends on what, in what way efficient you want it to be. For example, in terms of memory use, you know, it's Java. It will be a lot more than probably the regular, bots. But other than that, it should be pretty efficient. But it all depends on what you use it for.
Yeah, as far as I know, like botnet, it just like sort of automated like tool execution, but it doesn't do any like information exchange between the different bots, and that's the difference probably like which differs botnet from Stiff. So if you want to integrate this like Stiff functionality into botnet, you might want to do like the botnet engine for the Steve thing.
Any more questions?
Did we actually answer your question, or?
Yeah. No, I just feel that it's quite effective if it's implemented in a bot.
Well, it's kind of like an engine is actually a bot, or a bot is actually an engine. The only thing, we don't use IRC to talk, but if you want to use IRC to communicate, you just.
Yeah.
How secure is your program?
In what sense?
Well, if somebody will try to create a separate tool which will try to abuse your, well, I saw some like injections, right? I mean, I saw some skill communication with database, right? So if somebody will try to write their own tool, so the Steve will try to execute and will pick up the output and will, based on this output, it will inject some data in your database, something like this.
Well, first of all, as the Steve is actually escapes all the data before putting it into the database, so it fixes the SQL injections. But the other thing you're talking about executing some binary that it does not know, it really depends on administrator. If you have this tool configured in your rules, that you hack yourself. Simple as that. Any other questions?
Any other questions? Any other comments?
Suggestions?
Drink offers. Что? Эту музыку можно сделать? Да. Нет. Давай поработаем. Просто вот музыка, которая.
Yeah, we just decided on the.
We're thinking who actually wants the t-shirt?
The multi-threading questions, yeah, there were several questions from there, so you get the shirt.
Yeah, we get a lot of questions from this area, so we decided to award you with a t-shirt. Hey! Yeah, the t-shirt like this is like only one in the world. Custom made.
What do you use to create the video?
To create what?
Video.
It's actually
3D Max.
My friends in one small company back in Kurdistan, they use 3D Max for that. They have been rendering it for 1 week, I think. And it's still not finished.
Did we answer your question? All right, then we consider the presentation to be over and thank you very much.